Welcome to the Parenting with Grace and Grit podcast, where every week we discuss behavior and the top 3 strategies we, as behavior analysts, suggest to work on it. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, it looks like I'm drinking alcohol. It's not alcohol.
No, it's coffee. Well, Lauren doesn't drink coffee. Fun fact for everyone listening to the Parenting with Grace and Grit podcast. Lauren is not a coffee drinker.
But this also is not like a White Claw. It's just a Celsius. But everyone thinks I'm drinking a White Claw because it's in here.
That's funny. That's a cool
That'll pump you up for the morning.
Yeah. Okay, well, today we're continuing our summer series and we are going to talk about behavior at the pool. So this can seem like such a daunting task to take kids to the pool. So we're going to talk about a few tips that you can do to make it a little bit more fun for everyone. Well, mainly for moms or dads.
Yeah, the kids will have a blast regardless. So strategy 1 is probably very similar to strategies we use all the time. But again, like our visual schedules, it's so important to just set those super clear expectations before you go, because you don't want to get there and then you haven't talked about what you expect of your kid and they're all over the place running, jumping, splashing, and you're just getting frustrated, but your kid has no idea that they weren't supposed to be doing that. So tell your kids on the way what you expect of them. You need to keep your life jacket or your puddle jumper on. You need to walk, not run. We're not going to splash people. We're not going to jump in on top of people's heads, whatever it is. You can say it in a positive way. It doesn't have to be super punitive. Like instead of saying, don't run, don't jump, just say, look before you jump, or make sure you're walking around the pool because that's what's safe. And then tell them exactly what's going to happen for following or not following those directions. So if they are running, then maybe you need to pull them and take a seat. And you can say, if you can't stop running when we're there, we're going to just take a break have a little snack, and then we can try again, something like that. Again, it does not need to be punitive. It's supposed to be a fun day, but obviously their safety has to come first. So just be super clear about what you expect of them and then what the consequences are for if they follow your directions or if they don't.
And I think this is a good time to point out that when you set these clear expectations on, what they have to do at the pool or so-and-so might happen, you're setting those clear expectations versus if they start to, run around the pool, they're splashing, they're being dangerous, they're not listening and jumping around like crazy. And then you are telling them, okay, we have to go, but you never told them that before. Like that's when it would be more of a threat versus following through on your expectation. So that can be a big difference for your child versus like setting trust and making it clear to them what you expect of them versus like having to threaten to leave or threaten to make them sit out when they aren't listening to.
And that also goes on, sorry.
No, go ahead and say something, please.
It just also goes along with following through on those. So as long as you can follow through on what you're telling them is going to happen, then it's not going to do anything negative. It's just you sticking with your guns and your kid knowing that, oh, mom means business, dad means business. This is important.
Yes. All right, strategy 2. So if your child is little, you might want to go ahead and prepare them for wearing their life jacket ahead of time. So life jackets can feel like such a burden and some kids just hate them. So preparing your child by going to have them put it on, and then spend longer and longer in it until they can tolerate it without fighting you on it. And that might, I'm not saying to practice this at the poolside. We would say practice this at home when they're doing something fun, or like maybe when they're playing in the water table so they can feel it being wet too, because a lot of kids sometimes they're okay with it dry, and then when it's wet it's like a whole new issue. So just practicing having them wear it at home and taking a couple of days, extending the time that they wear it. But if you have a big beach trip coming up, or you know that you're going to the pool for a pool party or something, and you know that this has been a fight in the past, you want to start a couple weeks or a couple of days ahead of time before, just to be really ready and prepare them for this.
Yeah. Even if you think your kid's going to be fine, they might not. So maybe they were fine the summer before, but it's brand new again. Just test it out. Test it out, because you don't want to be like me at the place where you're going to be with your kids screaming their head off because you just put their life jacket on them. That's not fun. Okay. And teaching pool etiquette. This is something that came up a lot when I was kind of asking around, and people don't want to be splashed. Obviously, you don't want them to be jumping on top of people in the pool. So this is kind of a tough one, and it's also going to take some preparation, but you can start to teach your kids some pool etiquette before you go and really walk them through exactly what they're supposed to do. So you're not splashing people in the face, teach them how far away they should be from people before they start splashing or jumping or whatever it is. And then also practice the walking and stuff like that. So talk about it a lot, what they do in different scenarios. And then when you're actually there, you're going to have to work through it with them in real time because you're actually there. So you can show them exactly how far away in the pool they can be from other people and how to kind of navigate around the areas with other people there. And I know a lot of people and moms don't want to be splashed constantly. It's not kind of ruins it for us. So if they are splashing constantly, then use a neutral tone. Just remind them no splashing. You can give them like a 3 strikes and you're out kind of rule, where like if they splash 3 times, or if you tell them 3 times to stop, then they take a little break. You can also, if you're up for it, just tell them, we got 2 minutes, go bananas, splash all you want, splash me, splash your siblings, whatever it is. Everyone can go crazy. Once that time is up, we're done. And then maybe once it's out of their system, you can relax a little bit more.
Yeah, that satiation, right? Lauren, did I say it right?
Mm-hmm.
Oof, okay. I always get that word wrong. I'll type it wrong in all kinds of documents, and Lauren has to go back and fix it. But yeah, that can really help with just kind of letting them get it out of their system, and then hopefully it'll be less. It might still happen, but maybe it's not going to be so consistent where it's like they want to splash you, so they're like really hard. I can't even speak.
It's too early. But you also have to remember, like, you're at a pool, other people came to the pool. If they're splashing around and people are getting wet and they're getting angry about it, they're in a pool. Like, they have to just accept it. They can leave. And maybe, I think a lot of us moms like to just take our kids out and do stuff early too, so it won't be as busy. That's a great time to let them go bananas and get all their splashing out. And maybe they'll just be like a little more tuckered out by the time other people start arriving. So it's just going to be less of a problem too.
Yeah,
Pool
I
days are
think,
great. It's the best way to tire them out.
yeah, it is so great. But I do think, depending on how many kids you have, it can be so overstimulating for moms because there's so much that you have to do. I mean, this is like at the pool, at the beach, anywhere where it's like they have to be wearing like a hat. They need sunscreen. You have to make sure that they can swim. Um, like they need to get out and go to the bathroom. Then you have 2 other kids that are still in the pool. Like it's a lot to manage. And so I think if you can set those clear expectations ahead of time, that really is going to be like your biggest bet. And if you maybe are even having like a really hard time at the pool, where like maybe you have like a neighborhood pool and you guys are going like every day in the summer, and then the behavior is getting worse as the week goes on or something, that's when you can just kind of set those clear expectations. If it's really bad, you can even like have some rewards that maybe your older kids can use, like, hey, if you guys listen to me at the pool, if you're helping your sister, if you're listening when I say it's time to get out, then you guys can get like 30 minutes of TV time when we get home or something. But that can kind of help if you've seen like a slump and then need to reset. So
Yeah, it's perfect.
hopefully. That
And if
helps.
you also, yeah, um, if you just make it a plan, like, hey, you guys have an hour, then we're getting out, we're reapplying sunscreen, or we're having a snack or whatever, bathroom breaks, and you could just get everybody like kind of on the same schedule. So it's not like this one has to pee and then, 10 minutes later, this one has to pee. That might help too. Also, another bonus tip, moms probably already know this, but I didn't write it first. Put the sunscreen on before you go, before you leave the house. Spray them with sunscreen. That way it's ready for them when they're there. You're not battling sand and wind and them being all slippery, trying to get away. That's super helpful, I think.
Yeah, I
And a
think
tip I
that
often forget.
yeah, I think that's one of those things that's like we probably all know to do that, but we just don't think to do that. And so it's like the more things
Mm-hmm.
that you can do to help yourself not become overstemmy, the better
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah. Gotta get through it.
Mhm. Okay,
Um,
now it's time for our Grace and Grit guidance segment where we give advice to situations pertaining to topics from listeners. It's always anonymous. And if you want to write in, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. You can text us if you have our numbers. You can DM us on social media. You can do all kinds of reply to our stories. Whatever you need to do, we'll get you an answer somehow. Okay. Hey G&G, I love taking my kids to the pool, but they are constantly splashing each other and then splashing other people. How can I get them to watch what they're doing so they aren't splashing around others? That's tough. I mean, we did kind of
no.
just talk about splashing a little bit, so hopefully some of those tips helped you. But I would say the biggest thing around splashing is, to give them those clear expectations about splashing. So when you're there, make sure they know how far away they should be. And the best way that you can do that is like modeling, while you're being in the pool with them and showing exactly like how far away they should be someone when they splash. And depending on how big and old they are, how far their splash projection is. um, Anything to add, Lauren?
Maybe also like that's what they know to do in the pool. So maybe you can bring some diving rings or other little things for them to do, show them how to play in different ways in the pool. Because when you're little, that's kind of all you do. You just like splash about. So maybe they just need those other activities and even just some push, like, hey, why don't you try this instead? That might help.
Yeah.
I think we forget like kids just can figure it out on their own, and sometimes they just kind of get stuck in their little bubble. But yeah, that's it. I do have PSA because I have to add after our traumatizing summer. I can tell it's dramatic, but check
Do
your life
tell.
jackets before you use them, please. Just because it's Coast Guard approved and the right PFD does not mean it's always going to flip your child face up. Ours didn't flip our child face up. She's totally fine, but it flipped her face down. So we're testing our new one today at swim lessons just to make sure that if she falls in a pool, she's going to go the right direction this time. But yeah, please just test them out before you go on a boat and your child's flung from the cabin.
Yeah.
Pray that
That
doesn't
is
happen anyway.
very traumatizing. I would also say I saw something on Instagram where it was saying like this mom was just saying how she like got on Amazon and put in like life jackets, and then I think the ad might have said Coast Guard approved. I'm not sure. So anyway, she just bought it. They came to her house, and on the life jacket itself, it said not a life saving device or like not a flotation device. Like it's like was basically like a pool jumper or puddle jumper where it's like not actual, Coast Guard approved. Like it. So check your life jackets, people.
Just check them. Please just check them. Yeah.
If you
A little
need help
squirrely on
or
this one.
oh yeah, we are. Okay. If you need help or have additional questions, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. We also have free resources and products on our website. Visit us at parentingwithgraceandgrit.com. Thank you so much for listening to the Parenting with Grace and Grit podcast.
Bye.